Say it with me. The older you get, the lamer Beck becomes. The older you get, the lamer Beck becomes. Thank you. I've been saying thank you. So not the biggest fan of Beck, as you can probably tell. Even his earlier stuff, the stuff that's considered like really good. I guess Sea Change is pretty nice. Other than that, I generally don't really like Beck. And yet the general consensus around Beck seems to be a similar one around Weezer, where people are always saying, oh, they've turned into such an awful band, what they're dropping these days is terrible. It's nowhere near the quality that they were dropping in their peak in the 90s. And yet I'm just befuzzled because I just don't hear the great music that people talk about from that era. And so Beck's late career delve into this pop era that he's going for, with albums like Colours and this new album here. Isn't all that surprising. He was doing pop stuff in the 90s. I don't think a lot of that's particularly aged too well, but each to their own, I suppose. And at this point, it's not really surprising to say that Hyperspace is another bad Beck album, pretty much on par with his last one, honestly. This is pretty bland and very uninspired at points too. The entire lyrical arc that he's got going on as well is just incredibly beige and just really uninteresting. Not really any worse than what the music's going for here though. We have so many uneventful songs. The intro track just really fizzles off and doesn't really do all that much, to be honest. You've got this spacey, almost psychedelic vibe going through this album, kind of like touching a few of the tracks and kind of weaving in and out. It's not really fully fleshed out at any point, but I'm not really expecting that from Beck anyway. Reminds me a little bit of some spiritualized type stuff from the 90s, not fully in that sound, but just that kind of like space rock, neo-psychedelic-ishness just bleeding through a little bit. Chemical and Stratosphere definitely being the most in that vein to me, but these tracks are just really off colour to me. Like there's just something not quite right about them. Stratosphere is just unbelievably dull with Beck's voice. Perhaps it is his voice, the way he just kind of like groans over these instrumentals most of the time. There's these like almost trap 808s coming through on the track Chemical. It's just such an odd touch. You've got that rap verse later on the album too, which is just even more out of place than the friggin' 808s. At this point, it's probably best to point out that Pharrell has quite a bit of production on this album, and you can tell, like, Soul Lightning is just Pharrell at his worst. Like, Pharrell at his best compiles some great songs. We've heard so many of them over the years. I don't need to list off the ones that you know. If you know Pharrell's production, you will know the great songs he's produced. But when he's, like, not on his game, it is just so obvious. The friggin' country pop rock fusion of Soul Lightning is unbelievable. Like, I was listening to this nearly laughing at how awful it all sounds. Pharrell's ad-libs in the background coming up every now and then, just like with the hey, up, hey. It's just Beck's version of Lemon Drop by Logic. This is his Lemon Drop, and it came in the same year as Lemon Drop. We have two of these songs in 1 year. Music is at a crazy time. We cannot overlook this amazing period we are currently in. For as negative as I'm being though, there are just a few tracks that are really just fine. Like, I don't really have much to say about Uneventful Days, which is kind of ironic, I guess, given the title. The same with Star as well. Like, these two tracks are just some really listenable, like, kind of tolerable pop tracks that don't really add that much to my ears, but like they just go by and I'm like, yeah, cool, yeah. I really expected something different from the track Die Waiting though. I thought there was gonna be an interesting Sky Ferreira feature. There just isn't, honestly. Like, the feature there is really, really pointless. She's kind of just doing some Background vocals, really not sure why her addition was necessary. Incredibly saccharine lyrics, like I can't stand listening to the way Beck sings his words on this track, and that could be said for quite a few songs, honestly, like Stratosphere as well. It honestly just reminds me of like a soundtrack to like a kid's film. Like I wouldn't be surprised to hear this on Big Hero 6, or that random film that starred Rihanna and Jim Parsons a few years ago. I think it was called Home. Like something like that. It just really sounds like that kind of vibe. Everlasting Nothing closes out the album. You can tell I don't like this album anyway, but like, you know, this track is just so frustrating on a lyrical level. Like, it's so melodramatic, and I just don't think it is necessary. Melodrama isn't like the worst thing to include in your music, but like the way Beck includes it is just the whole like I woke up in a movie, I didn't know if it was my whole life kind of thing. Is just so ugh. Wise Blood did not make the amazing song movies this year for you to do this. You did no. It's Beck. It's bad. 4 out of 10. What else can I say? Look, if you like early Beck, you're not going to like this, but if you do like early Beck, then you can still listen to early Beck if you want, if you will. Catch Me Never listening to Mutations, though. Why would I ever touch the album? Is bad, but people like that a lot. But the people that like that will not like this, so yeah, you can give up on Beck at this point. He's long gone. Thank you for watching my review. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Hopefully you got something out of it. Hopefully you have a good day, and hopefully you subscribe. Goodbye. Hey.